My dear one, stop for a moment. Do not scroll away. Do not let this moment pass you by as if it means nothing. Because tonight, something inside you is being confronted. Something deeper than your problems. Deeper than your finances. Deeper than the people who walked away. Deeper than the doors that closed in your face. You have been trying to carry tomorrow with the strength you barely have today. And my child, my beloved, you were never created to walk through this life without God. You may think you are strong enough to handle everything alone. You may tell yourself, I will figure it out. You may have learned to smile while your heart is breaking. You may have become so good at hiding your pain that nobody even knows how exhausted you truly are. But God knows. My dear one, He sees the tears you never allowed anyone to witness. He knows the prayers you could not finish. He knows the nights when you stared into the darkness wondering how you would ever make it through another day. And tonight, this message is not here to condemn you. It is here to call you home. Because the title you heard is a warning wrapped inside an invitation. If you refuse to give yourself to God tonight, you may wake up tomorrow still carrying the same burden you were never meant to carry alone. Not because God wants to punish you. Not because He delights in your struggle. But because when you insist on walking without Him, you choose to face life's battles with only your own strength. And my child, your own strength has already brought you this far. But it cannot take you everywhere you are destined to go. There are battles ahead that require wisdom you do not yet possess. There are decisions coming that require discernment. There are doors that will open that you will need courage to enter. And there are doors that will close that you will need faith to accept. You need God. You need Him tonight. Not tomorrow. Not when everything becomes perfect. Not when you finally understand everything. Tonight. My beloved, this is your moment to surrender. Take a breath. And ask yourself the question you have been avoiding. What happens if I keep trying to do everything without God? How long can you keep pretending you are okay? How long can you keep fighting battles in secret? How long can you keep saying, I don't need anyone, when deep inside your soul is crying, Lord, I need you? My dear one, perhaps tomorrow will bring uncertainty. Perhaps you do not know what awaits you. But you do not have to know what tomorrow holds when you know who holds tomorrow. That is the difference. You are not being asked to understand the entire road. You are being asked to trust the one who can see the entire road. So tonight, give yourself to God. Give Him your fear. Give Him your future. Give Him your unanswered questions. Give Him the relationship you cannot control. Give Him the money you are worried about. Give Him the dream that seems delayed. Give Him the pain from your past. Give Him the part of you that you keep hidden from everyone else. My child, my beloved, surrender does not mean giving up. Surrender means finally placing your life into hands stronger than your own. And if you do that tonight, something begins to change. Because the greatest danger was never that you would face a difficult tomorrow. The greatest danger was believing you had to face it alone. And what you are about to understand next may completely change the way you look at every struggle you have survived. Because the greatest danger was never that you would face a difficult tomorrow, the greatest danger was believing you had to face it alone. My dear one, listen carefully. There is a difference between being alone and feeling alone. You may have people around you and still feel abandoned. You may have family, friends, co-workers, even people who say they love you, and yet there are moments when your soul feels completely isolated. You smile. You answer the phone. You go to work. You continue your responsibilities. You tell everyone, "I'm fine." But when the room becomes quiet, you know the truth. You are tired. You are afraid. You are carrying questions you cannot answer. And my child, my beloved, God has seen every hidden moment. He saw when you were strong for everyone else while secretly wishing someone would be strong for you. He saw when you encouraged others while your own heart needed encouragement. He saw when you gave love and received silence. He saw when you trusted someone and they betrayed that trust. He saw the opportunities you lost. He saw the money that disappeared. He saw the plans that collapsed. He saw the doors that closed without explanation. And perhaps you have been asking, "God, where were you?" My dear one. He was there. He was there when you thought you were forgotten. He was there when the answer did not come. He was there when the person you wanted stayed away. He was there when your plans fell apart. He was there in the silence. He was there in the delay. He was there in the disappointment. And sometimes, the very thing you called abandonment was actually protection. Sometimes God allows a door to close because He knows what is waiting behind it. Sometimes He removes someone because He knows they would have destroyed what He is building inside you. Sometimes He allows you to lose something temporary because He is preparing you for something that will not destroy your peace. My beloved, you may not understand it tonight. But one day, you may look back and say, "Now I understand why God did not let me stay there." You may look back at that relationship and realize it was not your destination. You may look back at that rejection and realize it redirected your life. You may look back at that season of financial struggle and realize it taught you discipline, wisdom, and dependence on God. You may look back at that lonely season and realize that solitude became the place where you finally heard the voice of your own soul, and began seeking God with all your heart. My child, my beloved, do not waste your pain. There is something God can build through what you thought would destroy you. Your tears are not meaningless. Your waiting is not meaningless. Your struggle is not meaningless. But you must stop running from God because of what happened to you. Run toward Him because of what happened to you. Do not let disappointment become distance. Do not let unanswered prayers become unbelief. Do not let one person's betrayal make you distrust the one who never betrayed you. My dear one, tonight, God is asking you for something deeper than your words. He is asking for your trust. Not your perfect life. Not your perfect faith. Not your perfect understanding. Just your trust. Give Him the broken pieces. Give Him the confusion. Give Him the fear. Give Him the uncertainty. And say, "God, I don't understand everything, but I refuse to walk into tomorrow without you." That prayer may be the beginning of your breakthrough. Because the moment you stop fighting God and start surrendering to Him, you begin to discover that the wilderness you feared may actually be the place where your faith becomes stronger. But there is something else you need to understand about this night, because the reason you have been feeling so restless, so unsettled, and so deeply tired may be connected to a battle you cannot see yet. Because the battle you cannot see yet may be the very reason your soul has been restless. My dear one, my beloved, there are moments in life when something inside you knows that you cannot continue the same way. You may not be able to explain it. You may not have the words for it. But deep within your spirit, there is a quiet realization. I need God more than I have ever needed Him before. That feeling is not weakness. It is an invitation. An invitation to stop running. An invitation to stop pretending. An invitation to finally surrender what you have been desperately trying to control. My child, my beloved, you have spent so much energy trying to control outcomes that were never in your hands. You tried to control what people thought about you. You tried to control who would stay. You tried to control who would leave. You tried to control when the money would come. You tried to control when the breakthrough would happen. You tried to control the future. And every time life refused to obey your plans, your heart became more exhausted. But listen to me carefully. You were never created to control everything. You were created to trust God. There is freedom in surrender. There is peace in surrender. There is strength in surrender. When you finally say, Lord, I cannot carry this anymore, you are not admitting defeat. You are recognizing that you were carrying something that belonged in God's hands. My dear one, perhaps your greatest breakthrough will not begin when your circumstances change. Perhaps it will begin when your heart changes. Perhaps the miracle will begin when you stop saying, God, make everything happen my way, and start saying, God, lead me in your way. That is where transformation begins. Because sometimes you are praying for God to change your situation, while God is trying to change you. You are praying for a new door, while God is preparing you to walk through it. You are praying for more money, while God is teaching you wisdom and stewardship. You are praying for a relationship, while God is healing the wounds that would sabotage it. You are praying for success, while God is building character strong enough to carry it. My beloved, do not despise the preparation season. You may feel forgotten. You may feel delayed. You may feel like everyone else is moving forward while you are standing still. But roots grow in darkness. Seeds develop beneath the soil where nobody can see them. And just because you cannot see what God is doing does not mean He is doing nothing. My child, my beloved, your hidden season may be preparing you for a visible season. Your tears may be watering something you will one day celebrate. Your loneliness may be teaching you how to recognize genuine love. Your disappointments may be teaching you discernment. Your failures may be teaching you humility. Your waiting may be teaching you patience. And your pain may be teaching you compassion. So do not curse the season that is building you. Do not run away from the process because it is uncomfortable. Do not abandon your faith simply because the answer is taking longer than you expected. My dear one, tomorrow is not guaranteed to be easy. But tomorrow does not have to be faced alone. When you give yourself to God tonight, you are not receiving a promise that nothing difficult will ever happen. You are receiving something greater. The assurance that when difficulty comes, you will not be without direction. When fear comes, you will not be without hope. When temptation comes, you will not be without strength. When confusion comes, you will not be without wisdom. When people leave, you will not be without love. When you fall, you will not be without a hand reaching toward you. My beloved, God is not asking you to predict tomorrow. He is asking you to surrender tonight. Give Him this night. Give Him your heart. Give Him your fear. Give him your future. And when you wake up tomorrow, wake up knowing that you do not have to carry the entire world on your shoulders. But there is one decision you must make before this night ends, because the next step requires you to release the very thing that has been quietly controlling your life for far too long. Part 4. Because the next step requires you to release the very thing that has been quietly controlling your life for far too long. Fear. My dear one, my beloved, fear has been speaking to you for a long time. It has been telling you that you will fail. It has been telling you that you will never recover. It has been telling you that your best days are behind you. It has been telling you that you are too broken, too late, too far gone. Fear has been reminding you of every mistake you ever made. Every person who rejected you. Every opportunity you lost. Every time you fell. And fear has been whispering. See? You were never meant to win. But tonight, my child, my beloved, you must answer that voice with faith. You must say, I may not know what tomorrow holds, but I know I will not walk into it without God. That is your declaration. That is your decision. That is your turning point. My dear one, you have been looking at your circumstances as if they are the final chapter. But God sees the entire story. You see the closed door. God sees the road beyond it. You see the empty account. God sees possibilities you cannot yet imagine. You see the broken relationship. God sees the healing that can still happen within your heart. You see the delay. God sees preparation. You see the wilderness. God sees a path. And what looks like the end to you may simply be the place where God begins something you never expected. My beloved, do not allow one difficult chapter to convince you that the whole story is hopeless. You are still here. You are still breathing. You are still capable of choosing faith. You are still capable of praying. You are still capable of beginning again. And as long as you are still here, your story is not finished. My child, my beloved, tonight, I want you to imagine placing every burden before God. One by one. Your fear. Your financial pressure. Your family problems. Your private pain. Your regrets. Your unanswered questions. Your future. Place them down. Stop picking them back up. You cannot surrender something to God and then spend the entire night worrying about it again. Give it to Him. Leave it there. Trust Him with it. You may not receive every answer tonight. But you can receive peace tonight. You may not know how the money will come. But you can know that panic will not solve the problem. You may not know who will stay. But you can know that your worth does not depend on who chooses you. You may not know what tomorrow will bring. But you can know that fear does not have to decide how you enter it. My dear one, there is a strength that appears when a person finally stops fighting alone. There is a peace that enters when you say, God, I surrender. Not because everything is fixed. But because you finally understand that you do not have to fix everything yourself. And perhaps that is what your soul has been waiting to hear. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to stop pretending that you have everything figured out. You are allowed to say, Lord, I need you. Say it again. Lord, I need you. And again. Lord, I need you. My beloved, there is no shame in needing God. There is no weakness in surrender. There is no defeat in asking for help from the one who created you. The world may tell you to depend only on yourself. But faith teaches you something different. You can work hard and still trust God. You can make plans and still surrender the outcome. You can pursue your dreams and still allow God to redirect your steps. You can fight your battles and still remember that the battle does not belong entirely to you. My child. Tonight, choose trust over fear. Choose surrender over control. Choose faith over panic. Because when you make that choice, you may discover that the very thing you thought was waiting to destroy you tomorrow, was actually the place where God was preparing to reveal His presence in a way you never expected. And what happens next will challenge everything you have believed about your current season, because the signs that God has not abandoned you may already be appearing around you. Because the signs that God has not abandoned you may already be appearing around you. My dear one, my beloved, perhaps you have been so focused on what is missing that you have forgotten to notice what remains. You keep looking at the door that closed. But have you noticed the door that is still open? You keep thinking about the person who left. But have you noticed the people who stayed? You keep counting what you lost. But have you counted what God preserved? My child, my beloved. Sometimes God's protection does not look like a miracle. Sometimes it looks like a delay. Sometimes it looks like a closed door. Sometimes it looks like an unanswered message. Sometimes it looks like a relationship ending before you understand why. Sometimes it looks like being forced to begin again. And one day, you may realize, God was protecting me when I thought He was rejecting me. My dear one, think about the things you once begged God to give you that He never gave you. At the time, you may have cried. You may have wondered why your prayers were ignored. You may have thought God was silent. But what if His silence was protection? What if the thing you desperately wanted would have taken you away from the person you were becoming? What if the door you wanted to enter would have led you into a life you were never meant to live? What if God knew something you could not see? My beloved, there are blessings that look like disappointments at first. There are answers that arrive disguised as endings. There are miracles that begin with a goodbye. And there are seasons when God removes what is familiar so you can finally discover what is necessary. So tonight, do not only ask God to give you what you want. Ask Him to give you what you need. Say, Lord, if it is not for me, remove it. If it will destroy me, protect me from it. If it will pull me away from you, give me the strength to let it go. And if it is truly meant for me, teach me to receive it with wisdom. My child, my beloved, that is a dangerous prayer for your flesh, but a beautiful prayer for your future. Because surrender means you trust God's wisdom more than your own desire. You trust His timing more than your impatience. You trust His direction more than your emotions. And when you begin to trust Him like that, your entire perspective begins to change. You stop chasing everything that looks attractive. You stop begging people to choose you. You stop forcing doors open. You stop exhausting yourself trying to prove your worth. You begin to understand. What God has for you will never require you to destroy yourself to obtain it. My dear one, you were not created to live permanently in survival mode. You were not created to wake up every morning terrified of what could go wrong. You were not created to spend every night replaying your failures. You were not created to carry yesterday into every tomorrow. At some point, you must release the past. At some point, you must forgive yourself. At some point, you must stop punishing yourself for things God is willing to forgive. My beloved, you cannot change what happened yesterday. But you can decide what yesterday will mean tomorrow. Your past can become a prison. Or it can become a testimony. Your wounds can become chains. Or they can become evidence that you survived. Your failures can become your identity. Or they can become lessons that prepare you for wisdom. The choice begins when you surrender. Tonight, give God your past. Give Him the memory you still cannot forget. Give Him the name that still makes your heart ache. Give Him the mistake that still makes you ashamed. Give Him the dream you buried because you became afraid to hope again. And say, God, I cannot carry this into another tomorrow. My dear one, maybe tomorrow is not asking you to be perfect. Maybe tomorrow is simply asking you to be willing. Willing to trust. Willing to listen. Willing to obey. Willing to begin again. Willing to believe that your story is not over. And if you wake up tomorrow with God in your heart, you may still face challenges, but you will face them with a different spirit. You will no longer walk as someone abandoned. You will walk as someone who has surrendered. You will no longer walk as someone who must control every outcome. You will walk as someone who trusts the one who sees beyond the horizon. And my beloved, there is a moment coming in this message when you must make your decision not with your lips only, but with your entire life. Because the next words are meant for the part of you that has been secretly wondering whether it is finally time to come back home. Because the next words are meant for the part of you that has been secretly wondering whether it is finally time to come back home. My child, my beloved, yes. It is time. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when your life becomes easier. Tonight. Come back to God tonight. Come back with your questions. Come back with your doubts. Come back with your tears. Come back with your failures. Come back with the parts of yourself you are ashamed to show anyone. You do not have to clean yourself up before you approach Him. You do not have to become perfect before you pray. You do not have to understand everything before you believe. Come as you are. My dear one, perhaps you have been waiting for a sign. Perhaps you have been asking, God, if you are really there, show me. And maybe this moment is not about receiving another sign. Maybe it is about recognizing the signs that have already surrounded your life. The fact that you survived what was supposed to break you. The fact that you are still standing after everything you endured. The fact that you still have a desire to seek God after all your disappointment. The fact that something inside you still whispers, there must be more. My beloved, that longing matters. Do not ignore it. That hunger for something deeper is not something to be ashamed of. It is a reminder that material things cannot satisfy the deepest places in your soul. Money can pay a bill. But it cannot purchase peace. Success can bring applause. But it cannot heal every wound. People can love you. But they cannot replace God. A relationship can bring companionship. But it cannot carry the weight of your entire identity. Only God can occupy the place in your heart that nothing else can fill. My child, my beloved, this is why you must stop running from the emptiness. The emptiness is not always your enemy. Sometimes it is the space where God is calling you deeper. Sometimes you lose your appetite for the things you once chased because God is teaching you to desire something greater. You may suddenly feel tired of shallow conversations. Tired of temporary connections. Tired of pretending. Tired of living for approval. Tired of chasing people who do not value you. Tired of waking up and asking yourself, is this all there is? My dear one, maybe your soul is not broken. Maybe your soul is awakening. Maybe God is calling you away from the noise so you can finally hear what you have been too distracted to notice. And tonight, you have a choice. You can ignore that calling. You can return to the same patterns. You can wake up tomorrow and continue carrying everything alone. Or you can surrender. You can say, Lord, I give myself to you. Not just my problems. Not just my financial needs. Not just my relationships. Not just my fears. I give you myself. My plans. My desires. My habits. My future. My heart. My whole life. My beloved, that is what true surrender looks like. It is not merely asking God to bless the life you designed. It is allowing God to redesign the life you are willing to surrender. And yes, that may mean change. It may mean walking away from something. It may mean forgiving someone. It may mean apologizing. It may mean breaking an unhealthy pattern. It may mean becoming disciplined. It may mean learning to say no. It may mean trusting God when your emotions are screaming for control. But my child, the cost of surrender is nothing compared to the cost of living disconnected from the one who gives your life meaning. So tonight, make the decision. Say it quietly if you must. God, I am yours. Say it when nobody is listening. Say it through your tears. Say it when you feel strong. Say it when you feel weak. Say it when you understand. Say it when you do not. God, I am yours. And when you make that declaration, do not expect every problem to disappear instantly. Expect something deeper. A new direction. A new perspective. A new strength. A new willingness to trust. Because tomorrow may still bring uncertainty, but you will no longer face uncertainty with an empty heart. And my dear one, if you are willing to surrender tonight, then there is one final step you must take, a step that will turn these words from something you merely heard into something you actually live. Because there is one final step you must take, a step that will turn these words from something you merely heard into something you actually live. My child, my beloved, you must choose. Not emotionally for 5 minutes. Not because this message touched you tonight. But consciously. Deliberately. With your whole heart. You must choose to walk with God when the feeling disappears. You must choose Him when tomorrow becomes difficult. You must choose Him when the answer takes longer than you expected. You must choose Him when people misunderstand you. You must choose Him when your plans fail. You must choose Him when the door you prayed for remains closed. Because faith is not proven only when everything is going well. Faith is revealed when you can still say, God, I trust you. When you do not understand. My dear one, this is where your life begins to change. You stop asking only, what can God give me? And you begin asking, God, what do you want to do through me? That question changes everything. You begin looking at your pain differently. You begin looking at your relationships differently. You begin looking at your money differently. You begin looking at your time differently. You begin looking at your future differently. You realize your life is not just about surviving until the next good thing happens. Your life has purpose right now. Even in the waiting. Even in the struggle. Even in the uncertainty. My beloved, maybe you think you need a miracle before you can have hope. But sometimes hope is the miracle that allows you to keep walking until the breakthrough arrives. Sometimes the first breakthrough is simply getting out of bed and saying, "I will not give up today." Sometimes the first victory is refusing to return to the person you used to be. Sometimes the first sign of healing is finally believing that you deserve peace. Sometimes the first step toward financial breakthrough is learning to stop making decisions from panic. Sometimes the first step toward a healthy relationship is learning to love yourself enough to stop accepting what destroys your soul. And sometimes the greatest breakthrough begins with 3 simple words. God, lead me. My child, my beloved, if you truly mean those words, be prepared. Because God may lead you somewhere your comfort does not want to go. He may ask you to release what feels familiar. He may ask you to forgive what feels unforgivable. He may ask you to wait when you want to rush. He may ask you to move when you want to stay. He may ask you to trust when you have no evidence except faith. But remember, the path of surrender is not always the easiest path. It is the path that leads you toward becoming who you were created to be. My dear one, tonight, I want you to remember this when you wake up tomorrow. You do not need to know everything. You do not need to have every answer. You do not need to solve your entire future before breakfast. Take one step. Then another. Pray. Listen. Work. Trust. Repeat. And when fear tells you, you are alone, answer. No. I am not alone. When anxiety says, you will never make it, answer. I have survived before, and I will keep moving forward. When shame says, you are too far gone, answer. My past does not have the final word over my future. When doubt says, nothing will ever change, answer. God can still write a new chapter. My beloved, let these words become your declaration. I will not surrender to fear. I will surrender to God. I will not surrender to hopelessness. I will surrender to faith. I will not surrender to bitterness. I will surrender to healing. I will not surrender to my past. I will surrender my future to God. And if you feel something inside you responding right now, do not ignore it. Take a moment. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. And say, God, I give you my life. Again. God, I give you my life. One more time. God, I give you my life. My dear one, your circumstances may not change in this exact moment. But you can change the way you enter tomorrow. You can enter tomorrow with faith instead of fear. With prayer instead of panic. With purpose instead of confusion. With hope instead of despair. And if you are willing to take this surrender beyond tonight, there is a final truth you must carry with you, because tomorrow morning will test whether your surrender was only an emotional moment or the beginning of a completely different way of living. Because tomorrow morning will test whether your surrender was only an emotional moment or the beginning of a completely different way of living. My child, my beloved, listen to me one final time. When you wake up tomorrow, the world may look exactly the same. The same room. The same responsibilities. The same bills. The same unanswered questions. The same challenges waiting outside your door. But you do not have to be the same. You can wake up with a different heart. You can wake up knowing that your future does not depend entirely on your ability to control everything. You can wake up knowing that you are not required to carry every burden by yourself. My dear one, if you surrender to God tonight, it does not mean tomorrow will never be difficult. It means you will no longer have to face difficulty believing that you are abandoned. It means when fear comes, you can pray. When confusion comes, you can seek wisdom. When temptation comes, you can choose differently. When disappointment comes, you can remember that one closed door does not mean your life is over. When you lose something, you can trust that loss is not always the end of your story. And when you feel weak, you can say, God, strengthen me. My beloved, this is the promise you must carry into tomorrow. You are not required to know the entire plan. You are only required to take the next faithful step. One step. One prayer. One decision. One day at a time. Do not borrow tomorrow's fear tonight. Do not suffer tomorrow's problems before they arrive. Do not allow your imagination to create disasters that may never happen. Give tomorrow to God. Tonight belongs to surrender. Tomorrow belongs to trust. And every day after that. Take it one day at a time. My child, my beloved, remember the title of this message. If you refuse to give yourself to God tonight, He will let you face tomorrow alone. Do not hear those words as condemnation. Hear them as an invitation. An invitation to stop choosing isolation. An invitation to stop depending only on yourself. An invitation to stop running from the very presence that your soul has been searching for. Tonight, you can choose differently. Tonight, you can come home. Tonight, you can surrender. Tonight, you can say, God, I don't have all the answers. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I don't know how everything will work out. But I know I need you. So I give you my heart. I give you my future. I give you my fears. I give you my failures. I give you my dreams. I give you my entire life. My dear one, if that is your prayer, let it be more than words. Live it. Walk it. Choose it. When you wake up, remember it. When you face pressure, remember it. When you receive good news, remember it. When you receive bad news, remember it. When you are celebrated, remember it. When you are forgotten, remember it. God is not only the God of your mountain. He is also the God who walks with you through the valley. My beloved, you may have entered this message feeling afraid of tomorrow. But I want you to leave with hope. Tomorrow is not your enemy. Tomorrow is another opportunity to walk forward. Another opportunity to grow. Another opportunity to heal. Another opportunity to love. Another opportunity to trust. Another opportunity to become stronger. And perhaps tomorrow will bring the answer you have been praying for. Perhaps it will bring an unexpected opportunity. Perhaps it will bring a conversation that changes everything. Perhaps it will bring a door you never expected. Or perhaps tomorrow will simply bring another ordinary day. And even then, God can still be present in the ordinary. Do not overlook small blessings. The breath in your lungs. The ability to begin again. The person who still loves you. The opportunity still available to you. The strength you did not know you had. The wisdom you gained through pain. The faith that survived your darkest season. My child, my beloved. These are blessings too. So tonight, before you close your eyes, release the weight. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. Stop replaying what you cannot change. Stop fearing what has not happened. Stop carrying the future as if it belongs entirely to you. Breathe. And surrender. Now, my dear one, let me speak this blessing over your heart. May you find peace where fear once lived. May you find strength where weakness once controlled you. May you find wisdom when confusion surrounds you. May you find courage when the road becomes uncertain. May you find provision in seasons of need. May you find hope when circumstances tell you to give up. May you find healing for wounds you have hidden for too long. May you have the courage to release what no longer belongs in your life. May you recognize the doors that are meant for you and the wisdom to walk away from those that are not. May you never confuse delay with denial. May you never confuse silence with abandonment. May you never confuse a closed door with the end of your story. And when tomorrow comes, may you remember that you do not have to face it alone. My beloved, give yourself to God tonight. Not because you are weak, but because you finally understand where your true strength comes from. Not because your story is over, but because you believe there is still more to come. Not because you have lost hope, but because you are choosing to place your hope somewhere stronger than circumstances. And if you are listening to this right now, make this your final declaration before you move forward. God, I am yours. My past is yours. My present is yours. My future is yours. My fears are yours. My dreams are yours. I will not walk into tomorrow alone. I will walk with faith. I will walk with hope. I will walk with courage. And I will trust you one day at a time. My dear one. Now let go. Rest. Breathe. Tomorrow has not arrived yet. And when it does, you will meet it with a heart that has surrendered, a spirit that has hope, and a faith that refuses to die. My child, my beloved, you are not finished. Your story is not finished. Your purpose is not finished. Your best chapter may still be waiting to be written. So close your eyes tonight without fear. Place your life into God's hands. And when morning comes, rise. Pray. Believe. Walk forward. Because you do not know what tomorrow holds. But you no longer need to be terrified of tomorrow when you have chosen not to face it alone. This is your moment. This is your invitation. This is your surrender. And this can be the beginning of a new chapter.